Great morning, great evening, great afternoon. My name is Demetrius Pearson, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devontae Ward, and this is The Counterattack. Like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you can know when to go on the counterattack.
When it comes to my household, and I feel like everybody's household should be like this. That's my sanctuary. So I don't pay all this money to be in this house and to have it in a state of, not being a controlled environment or not being an environment where I can feel at peace. I can feel like I can get things taken care of here, or I can be productive here. So when it comes to restructuring my environment in the household, granted, you're dealing with multiple personalities, which means myself, my spouse, and my kids. So you have to be in alignment with one another when it comes to restructuring your environment, because we all make up this environment.
Great morning, great evening, great afternoon. I'm your host, Devontae Ward, and this is The Counterattack. All right, so continuing on from last week's episode, we're still in the same clothes, obviously. It's my turn to have the privilege of being in the presence of an Olympic medalist.
Chill out. Chill out.
But in all honesty, one of my great friends, one of the best people that I could have met at the time that I was transitioning out of the military and going to school, Obi Carnathan. How are you feeling?
I'm good, DJ. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, bro. More so, let me not even ask you how you feeling, bro. Because the last episode with you and D, you gave such a great perspective and insight into stuff, and it made me question, or want to ask this question: what do you want versus how do you feel? And are you making your decisions based on what you want, or is your belief system based on how you feel? So are you letting your feelings drive your decision, or are you letting what you want drive it in spite of the feeling?
I would say I'm also letting what I want drive what I do and not my feelings. Because what I realize over time is sometimes your feelings could mislead you, especially when you're thinking about something that like deep in your heart, what's best for you. You do. But sometimes your feelings in a particular moment will lead you astray and take the path that's not best for you, because maybe you're emotionally tied to a certain predicament, or maybe you're caught up in a current situations. But if you know what you want, if you know what your ultimate goal is, if you know what the ultimate thing that you're looking to achieve, and you focus on that, your feelings kind of dwindle away, or they're not as important, they're not as impactful. So I definitely focus on what I want and ignore my feelings and leave that aspect out of it, because when you think about being a father, a husband, they don't care about how I feel today when it's time to get a bill paid, when it's time to go to a basketball game, when it's time to make sure they eat, when it's time to make sure my wife is loved and she feels needed and wanted. They don't care how I feel when it comes to that. So you definitely got to make sure you take care of what you want. And I want a happy household. I want a healthy life. I want to be great in all aspects of my life. So, yeah.
And that's so specific and it's well put. The fact that you can articulate it is powerful. I don't know about you. I couldn't have did that when I was probably 22, 23, in words. I might have had like a feeling or like a vagueness of it, but I didn't have that specificness at all in terms of, knowing what I wanted. And so I'm not gonna lie, personally, I did a lot of stuff off of how I felt.
Always.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that was the belief system that I was rocking with until I did. And I was like, no, say it ain't so. You know what I'm saying? I felt, people feel shame, guilt, and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? I just gotta put this on my back and move with it. And when you and D were talking, bruh, environment came up. And environment is something that isn't just the environment that you're your community, the area you're living in. Environment is also you talk. It's inside your mental environment, and then your environment of your home, and then you talked about the environment, how you had to move environments. and I know genetics gets talked about a lot. However, environment is very important. So what I want to ask you is what are some specific things that you've set up in systems within your household that maybe counteract some things that were unhealthy that you may have learned were unhealthy, and now you're like, you know what, this isn't beneficial and it's not benefiting me and the ones I love. Let me switch this environment and to shift this so that way we can get the benefits of doing it this way versus having been doing it this opposite way and seeing that it hasn't returned the fruit that we would like it to return.
Okay. Yeah. So great question, by the way. But when it comes to my household, and I feel like everybody's household should be like this. That's my sanctuary. So I don't pay all this money to be in this house and to have it in a state of, not being a controlled environment or not being an environment where I can feel at peace. I can feel like I can get things taken care of here, or I can be productive here. So when it comes to restructuring my environment in the household, granted, you're dealing with multiple personalities, which means myself, my spouse, and my kids. So you have to be in alignment with one another when it comes to restructuring your environment, because we all make up this environment. So let's just talk about simple things like translating, getting better eating habits, right? So what my wife and I have done is we used to have a countertop that used to have a bunch of decorative things, as far as like, for instance, for the winter, she might have on her bar a bunch of like winter decorated food items, and that could be anything from like um, candy canes, chocolate. It could be different things like hot cocoa, stuff like that on the bar. Scrap that. Now, if you look at that area or not too far away from that area, there's a bunch of fruit there, because now we understand that what you see regularly, you're more likely to grab, you're more likely to reach for. So now on that fruit bar, you have apples, you have oranges, you have bananas. That way we can improve our eating habits. And we also place some detox water there and stuff like that. When it comes to other areas of my house, like I said, my kids and we share like an entertainment room, so to speak. I realized some time ago when I was in school that my computer desk was taking on two roles. It was a place where I studied, and it was also a place where I engaged in my video gaming. So, granted, it would make sense that while I'm studying, it's hard to focus, because my body also recognizes that, yo, you sit here and play video games as well, and you're telling me you're trying to focus and study at the same and in the same spot. So, move the video game from that location. So now, when I get to my computer desk, my mind understands that, oh, we're about to study. Oh, it's game time. We're about to focus, and we're about to be real intentional with what we're trying to consume at this moment. And there's other things that I've done, but things like that, just, you can't always just get up and put yourself in a new place, but you can always analyze your place, see what's working, see what's not working, and just move some things around. And that change of view, that change of perspective could be just what you need to go to the next level.
Okay. How have you done that within the dynamics of your personal family as well? Because sometimes we have to change up our environment, and changing the environment up doesn't mean that you're not engaging with them, but the approach for a healthier interaction has to happen. And a lot of times, sadly, like we was talking about day ones, only one person is the one that shifts that. And that doesn't mean sacrifice, but it means you may have to do certain things like maybe limit time or create, like under certain conditions. And it's not to say that that person is a bad person. Like you said, like you've made adjustments to your environment that benefits you. And I believe it's okay if that's serving you, you know, as a person, like somebody else. If the hot cocoa and stuff is like your life and you loving it, and you and the creator got a good relation, you in alignment, cool, rock with it. You know that hasn't worked for you, and yours. So how have you adjusted to that? Those type of situations with day ones and family members as well.
All right, so when it comes to that, my day ones will always be my day ones, unless unless they choose to go against whatever our let me get some water. What our code is, for lack of better words. day ones, we always gonna rock with each other. But we understand that there's certain things that maybe we don't talk about, or there's certain areas of our life that maybe this is not the part where we mesh well. And we respect that. So shout out to all my day ones. I'm not gonna go off and name them call them out by name, but my day ones know who they are. But what I had to realize is what I want for my life is what I want for my life. Same for you. What you want for yours is what you want for yours. What I choose to do for myself, I cannot see it as being selfish. It's really, I would say the opposite, because I understand that what I do for myself benefits my household, benefits the people who I have my last name on, my wife and my kids. So I also get that I am the average of the 5 people I associate myself with the most. So if I want to increase a certain area of my life, I got to look at the people who are close to me and how they are in that area of their life. Because if this is the person that I'm talking to on a daily basis, let's say about finances, 9 times out of 10, my numbers are going to look not too far from his numbers. Or if this is a person I'm talking to on a daily basis about fitness, 9 times out of 10, my fitness is not going to look too far from his fitness. So I did have to restructure my environment in terms of who I spend the most time with, as far as talking to, studying, and just interacting with, because I'm an introvert by nature anyway. So when I choose to have those periods of I don't know if you would call it extroversion. I don't know. No, that don't even sound right. But you know, like, when I have those periods where I want to feel like an extrovert, or I want to be extroverted, I think that's the term. I'm very mindful of who I choose to share those experiences with, because I understand that when I get back in my introverted bubble, those experiences and how I've been affected by them affects me in the long run. So I want to make sure that those are beneficial, and not just for myself, because I don't want to sound selfish. I also want to make sure that I'm benefiting that individual or those individuals as well. So I don't put myself in places where I'm not benefiting people too often. And I also don't put myself in places where the people I'm around are not sharpening or benefiting me too often. So I got other stuff that I'm trying to do right now. Like, I'm trying to maintain this cum laude. I'm trying to finish these tough courses, because my last semester in college wasn't an easy semester, so I did fall off the running. So this day when he came in and ran the 10 miles, and like we did have some periods where we were like, you know, competing on the run tip some days prior, I'm like, bro, he just gonna come out the blue like this with the 10 miler and not give me a chance to prepare myself for that day. Because for that Friday, I think I had planned, like, you know, I had to study. I had some stuff to do Sunday evening. And I said, you know, I don't have time to run. But when he walked in with the 10 miler, bro, I felt like he called me a bleep, for lack of better words.
Bro, you can use. We have a word. We have a replacement word. Enigma.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
we got a
so
replacement
funny.
inside joke.
I feel like bro was disrespecting me, and I'm like, man, I got kids out here. I can't be getting disrespected like that.